Hello again, VC. How you doing? Another quickie. I just wanted to show some odds and ends things I picked up recently. 45s, a CD, even a cassette. But just some odds and end things that I picked up. I'm trying to catch up with all the stuff I've recently been picking up, and it's just going to take forever to do that. So I'm going to do a little bit at a time. But playing some music by The Nits from Hank, the album Hank, and which I have on CD, but I don't have on vinyl. I had it on vinyl once. I'll have it again, I promise. But that music has nothing to do with what I'm going to show you, so I wouldn't mind having. These are mostly 45s, and honestly, I wouldn't mind having some Nits on 45s. Just got to find them. They seem to be kind of hard to come by. But anyway, start things off. I found a cassette of the Beatles, not too easy to find, just on their own. Only cost a couple bucks. Beatles 65. Looks like it's a relatively new cassette, transparent case and whatnot. Well, doesn't really say HX Pro. It's been a while since I've been into cassettes. I got my tape player in deep storage, and one day I might get it out and use it again. I might as well. Cassettes seem to be coming back in style. Another very cool thing I picked up recently was Japanese pressing of Orpheus, The Lowdown. This is a Peter Blegvad and, get the glare out of there, and Andy Partridge collaboration from a while back. Can't remember exactly when. 2000, no, it was back in the 90s. Trying to find a date on this. But I was surprised to find this Japanese pressing like this, the really thick jewel case. I'm going to open this up and give it a good listen. I've heard this before. I've also got another version. When it first came out in one of these large format, almost like a CD case size, but it's thin. But it's just a CD. And what is this? 2003. Yeah, it did come out in 2003. Okay. So what's nice about this is that it has Peter Blegvad and Andy Partridge's autograph on it. Still have it sealed from when I got it. And I don't think this was ever released on vinyl, but it's still very interesting music. I've heard some of it. I didn't want to open this up because it was autographed. And I had the music from another CD, and then I found this Japanese pressing of it. It's such a good price, I just thought I'd have it. It'd be kind of nice. So that's kind of a cool thing to have. Something else that came out in this format from Ape Records and Andy Partridge is, the Apple Venus album that came out. Like the last two albums that they did, the XTC did Apple Venus and then Waspstrumentals, which is Apple Venus Part 2. Or Wasp Star, that's it, Wasp Star. Apple Venus Volume 1 and then Apple Venus Volume 2 was Wasp Star. Then they released the instrumental versions of them. It's kind of interesting. Well, I've got the instrumental, I've got them on Japanese jewel cases like this, but I also picked up from the Ape website the same kind of, I think this is called like an A9 package or something like that. I'm not sure, an A6. It had a particular name of the type of package this was. But again, this is autographed by Andy Partridge and Colin Moulding. And I've got a second one. This one I opened up to get the music from. I also got a second copy of it and left this one sealed. I missed out on getting Waspstrumentals. This is Instravenous, which is just the instrumental versions of the first Apple Venus album. So this is getting confusing. It's getting confusing for me. But the corresponding disc for this, for Apple Venus Part 2, which was Wasp Star, was called Waspstrumental. And if anybody out there has a copy of this package, like this, preferably autographed, I might be interested in trading one of these so I can have a complete set. Preferably autographed. That might be a point of contention. If it's not autographed, I'd really like to have two autographed copies. But if somebody has two copies of the Waspstrumentals, and it's got a dark cover, it looks very similar to the album. In fact, hold on one second. Entertain yourselves momentarily while I grab these guys. Well, see, I thought I had these on vinyl, but I don't. I have the original album, Apple Venus Part 1 on vinyl, and I have what is called XTC Homespun, and these are the demos. This isn't the instrumental album, this is the demos. I also have Wasp Star, well, Apple Venus Part 2 Wasp Star on vinyl. But I don't have the demo version of that on vinyl. I don't think I have the instrumentals on vinyl either. I'm not sure, but let me put these back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. And my chair is there we go. Hello. So anyway, we talk about making a short clip long. Anyway, so, you know, if anybody out there happens to have the corresponding Wasp Star autographed of this, I might be interested in trading if they don't have an Instravenous, or Waspstrumental, that is. I might be interested in trading. I've only got one of these, but very cool. It's great having them autographed. So that's that. Some 45s that I recently picked up. Color box. And I believe this is Punch. I didn't know this was a color box 45 until I looked really closely and read the and read the text. I'd never seen this. I'd seen this before. I just didn't know it was a color box 45. It's one side of it, and the other side. So reflective there. I'm a Colorbox fan. I like their first album that they did. I think I showed that on one of the recent clips that I picked up that I made. I was thinking about something else. Blah. And Colorfield. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Colorfield. I picked up in the 80s. Nice Colorfield 45. Side 1 the Colorfield. Side 2 Sorry. Chrysalis blue label there. Okay. On Ian Dury, 45. What a waste. On Stiff Records, down here the Stiff Records logo, but the actual record says Blockhead, the label. It's kind of interesting. A and B says Blockhead. And it has information where you see that line, it makes a square. That's actually information about what's on the vinyl. It's very hard to read if you're old. So it was meant for younger eyes. Let's see here. Something I was really surprised to find. And when I looked it up on eBay, I found one copy of it listed. And I'd heard about this, and I think this probably is where this came from, maybe. Brian Eno had a box set back in the early 80s of his albums. And, something a little funny there. Frame myself a little bit better. It was a box set of his vinyl albums, and then it said something about, I remember the box set saying something about it having a version of The Lion Sleeps Tonight that he had done. And so I found this, which is a promo on Island Records, AA side promo, and it's The Lion Sleeps Tonight. It says Eno on it, but this says promotion copy 1975. It's in just perfect mint shape. I mean, it could not be any cleaner. It could not have come off of the press any sooner than yesterday, really, if you were to look at this. So the only problem is what looks like it used to be a little sticker right there. Unfortunately, that just left a little bit of a mark from falling off. It just puckered the label a little bit. But anyway, I haven't played this yet. Looking forward to it because I've heard of it. I remember seeing it on that box set way back when. Yes, I wish I picked up that box set, but that was back when I was young and just out of college and not making a lot of money. And I remember even then the box set was a lot of money, so I kind of passed on that. The Damned, Waiting for the Blackout. And this is kind of fun. It's got a great Captain Sensible photo on the back. Doing, what is it, Jet Boy, Jet Girl? Yeah, Captain Sensible and the Softies on the B side. And this is interesting. It's like it's a big beat, but it's kind of like it says in the center here, 5 years of anarchy, chaos, and destruction, the Damned. So, kind of cool. Glad to find that. My Damned 45 collection is growing by leaps and bounds, because I also picked up another Damned 45. I passed on this down in San Diego. I'm kind of glad I did because I got it for about half of the price. This is the Damned White Rabbit, or Doing White Rabbit. And this one is on, show the B-side there. They always do a pretty good job of putting 2 extra tracks on the B-side. That's what's happened in this case. This is on Chiswick. With that metallic, metal-formed label, which is nice and it's kind of not, I don't know. I like good old-fashioned paper labels on 45s, but in the 80s there were a lot of these sort of, I don't know how, I read a term what these were called once and it made sense, but it's kind of strange now. Teardrop Explodes from the Kilimanjaro album. Kind of hard to see. It's a dark cover to begin with, but it's the single for When I Dream. Again, another one of those lovely metallic. When I Dream on the A side and Kilimanjaro on the B side from 1980. So, got to get some more. I got to get some new inner sleeves for these, and some Blake sleeves for my 45s maybe eventually. Fingers crossed. Hoping to hear that bit of information soon, that announcement. This was like $1, but I'll take a Psychedelic First single in perfect condition for $1. We Love You on one side. Is that the Jagger Richards version of it? Or no? I think it's there, We Love You. I was kind of wondering about this. It's also got a hole punch right about here, right in the middle of the label, and then Pulse on this side. So it's, yeah, no picture sleeve, it's just the single, but for $1, and it's in fine condition. Nothing was wrong with it, and I figured, I'll take it. Yep. Just a couple more here. One, which I thought was a great purchase. This originally didn't have a price on it, and I asked the guy up front, well, how much? And it's U2, A Day Without Me. And he priced it at $3. I said, okay, sure. Perfect condition. Absolutely perfect condition. Love the metallic silver printing that they use there. Very cool. And it's an original. I believe this is an Irish. Yeah. Record manufactured in Ireland. So there you go. Things to Make and Do on one side, and A Day Without Me on the other. And it is the Irish pressing of it. I don't know the sort of the chronological history of the labels with U2 and CBS. I can only assume that this is an original pressing. I'm hoping it is. Again, with that metallic silver ink that they used on the front and back, I can only assume that this is an early pressing. They wouldn't have done that for a later pressing, I don't think. So, there was one more thing, and Conrad, if you're watching this, I just happened to have nabbed one of these Fiona Apple singles that they're handing out as promos. If I get a chance to get another one, and you haven't gotten one yet, I will get one to you. I'm going to see what I can do about, hopefully, fingers crossed, somehow getting another one. Anyway, this one, kind of staying with me. I'm sorry. You turned me into a Fiona Apple fan, so. Anyway, thanks a lot for all this rambling. It's supposed to be a short post, and it ends up being a long post, as usual. But I appreciate you guys watching. Try to do more updates as I can. Take care.